the Growing Towards God podcast. Here on Growing Towards God, we talk about ways to grow spiritually and hear how God has been working in people's lives. My name is Virginia, and I'm so excited that you're here today. Thank you for listening, so now let's get to the good stuff. Hello everyone! Today I have a very special episode for you guys. Welcome to the Seeing God Abroad series. Whoop whoop! Woo! So during this series you're going to hear from some of my friends that I met while studying abroad and some of my friends who have studied abroad. And we're just going to talk about some of their takeaways and how their spiritual life was impacted by going abroad. So, kicking off the Seeing God Abroad series, we have my good friend who inspired me to go abroad right around this time last fall, Chynna!
Hey everybody, I'm Chynna!
Hello, we're so excited that you're here today. Thank you so much for being on.
Yeah, I am super excited to be here. I've been looking forward to coming on here and speaking about my experiences, so yeah, thank you for having me.
This is so fun! Oh my gosh. Okay, so as you may know, with other guests on the podcast, we do an introduction of 2 truths and a lie.
Yes.
So, I asked Chynna to prepare some facts for us, so I'm going to guess. So, please tell us.
Yeah. Okay, so 2 truths and a lie. I have 4 siblings, 2 cats, and have gone cliff jumping. Oh, yeah, well, speaking of which, we got my computer going off and highlighting that for me. So yeah, 4 siblings, 2 cats, and have gone cliff jumping.
I don't think you've gone cliff jumping.
Really? Okay, so that's a final answer.
Yeah.
I have.
Oh my gosh, no way.
The lie in that is that I have 2 cats. I do not have 2 cats. I have
Okay.
1 lovely dog. He's my little fur baby. He's so cute and adorable.
Wait, I knew that. Now that you say that, I knew that. What?
I know. Well, truth be told, the cliff jumping was towards, the end of my trip. So, it was kind of, towards the end, not, earlier in my life. So,
yes.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, it was crazy. I don't know how I did it. I'm not, afraid of heights, but man, once you're up high in the air,
yeah,
it took me a solid 5 minutes to get down there.
Yeah. Wait, so where did you go?
So it was during one of my Napa trips in Cyprus,
okay.
and towards the end of the semester while studying abroad, and some of my friends we have to go cliff jumping. It's just something you do, right? I was like, yeah, let's go for it.
No big deal,
right? And so we swam for a little bit in the water. I'm telling you y'all, it is Gatorade blue. That is no filter. It is real crystal clear Gatorade blue water. So beautiful. And I'm like, okay, some of my friends have gone ahead, and I'm like, all right, time to go. And I'm up on the cliff, and I'm like to my my friend, Margot, I'm like, oh, wow, that is really high up. I don't think I can do this. She's like, girl, you can do it. You're right there. Just jump in. It's good. And I kid you not, y'all, it took me a solid 5 minutes, close to 10, to get into that water. And she's like, if you don't go right now, I'm going to push you. I'm like, nope. Okay, so
I guess I'm jumping.
Right?
Yeah.
I guess we got to go for it. And, the only thing was, if I landed a little bit more straighter, I wouldn't have ended up with a nasty bruise on my leg. Yeah, so that was not the greatest part of it. But hey, I checked it off the bucket list. I'm good. I don't have to do it again.
Yeah.
And I went cliff jumping in Napa.
Yeah. That's a fun fact.
It was great. It is a fun fact.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not every day.
Sometimes everyone needs a friend like that. That's gonna push them to do something that you'll regret.
Yeah, just
if you don't do it.
Right. Just going outside your comfort zone.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And
exactly.
It was great. It was a good time.
Yes. So speaking of going outside of our comfort zones,
right.
I would love to hear about where you went, and why you chose the place that you went.
Yeah, so I went to this beautiful Mediterranean island called Cyprus, and it is just, as I like to call it, the jewel of the Mediterranean. It's right in between Greece and Turkey, so Goldilocks, right in the middle, that happy spot in the world. And it truly is one of the sunniest places on earth, about, I'm just ballparking it, like about 300 out of 365 days of sunshine. It's rare, not rare that we will have rain, but we'll definitely have a lot more vitamin D in our lives, which I feel like I'm kind of lacking, like being back here on this side of the world. Right? But yes, no, it's just this beautiful island full of just rich culture and history. And the island, if you don't know about Cyprus, it's currently like divided in half, where the southern part is mainly Greek Cypriots and the northern part is Turkish Cypriots. So that just stems back from their long history, going back to like the 1960s when, you know, Great Britain left them and gave them their independence, and then you know, Turkey did like invade like the northern part of it. And so there was this like divide for like, I want to say like about 30 to 40 decades. Just, you know, no one crossing that border on the island. But it wasn't until up until about 10 to 15 years ago, I want to say, like, you know, they, Turkey allowed people to cross over, and, you know, you just have to bring your passport, and, you know, really like just coming together and flowing in between for the culture. So yeah, no, cool. It really is, because it's currently peaceful, it's dormant, there's no war or tension or anything, and it's really cool because when I've had the opportunity to visit both sides of the island, so you really get to see that history of the different cultures, but also before that time, for thousands and thousands of years, Greek and Turkish Cypriots have lived together. And unfortunately, it is like one of those small islands that happens to be key, you know, globally and geographically in the world for, you know, higher powers or stronger countries, if you will. And it's easy to want to rule that.
The power grab.
Yeah, exactly. Like power grab. Yeah. And, but you know, this, beautiful group of people, the Cypriots, they've always just like assimilated and continued on, even through the trials and hardships. And yeah, it's beautiful to witness all that culture and history. The food alone, I would go back. The food was absolutely incredible. Some of my favorites, little shout out, halloumi cheese. The best cheese you will ever have. Okay. It's literally like, if you have like grilled cheese, like, you know how sometimes the cheese is like fluffy with the bread? Well, halloumi cheese is like almost like 10 times that, right? What? So it's like super fluffy, it's grilled like perfectly, not like overbaked or undercooked or anything. It's just a nice perfect, like...
Is it like crisp?
Yeah,
like when you bite in, there's a little
crisp,
crunch,
but it's also like chewy too, you know what I mean? Like when you, I think here's a good example, like when you take freshly baked chocolate chip cookies out of the oven, like they're not like super soft where they like break apart, but just the perfect like crisp texture. I mean, really, that's good. I know, I'm like getting hungry. Yeah, so good. But yes, needless to say, super good with pita bread. That's like a winter staple for that. Like so good. Also like their watermelon, like all their fruits and vegetables, like you taste the fresh quality, which I'm like, wow, can we bring that back home?
Yeah, definitely noticed
like, I'm sure you experienced that too with the food. Yeah,
well, I mean, Ireland, they don't like grow their own food that much. Really? They like import a lot because they don't have a lot of land, right? You know, and they're like an island, so yeah. But the food was still very fresh.
Oh yeah.
And it was kind of cool to see, like, on the labels, like, I bought a thing of blueberries, and it said it was from Portugal, and I was like, oh, whoa, cool, I'm just eating blueberries from Portugal right now, like, alright.
Like, yeah, experiencing all different parts of the world with your, like, food palette, Yeah. No, super good. Yeah, but also, too, it's just a beautiful area. The people are extremely nice. Like, I've never met more, just lovely, super, like, genuine, like, group of like people. I mean, they told us too, like, if they offer you gifts, like, it's just like part of the custom and the culture to accept it. Whether like you eat the food or you don't, or whatever you do with what they give you, you know, it's just like something like them reaching out to like foreigners and just being super kind, which I feel like more of the world like needs to emulate that, you know.
I feel like today, or a lot of people in our American culture, it's like you give something to expect something in return.
Right.
And so it's cool to see how like different cultures, they give just because they want to give and they want to make you happy, and that fills them with joy.
Yeah, and like include you in their culture.
Yeah.
No, for sure.
That's so awesome. Did you get any gifts?
I did not, but hey, I did get the gift of knowledge from a lot of them. Yes. I did get to befriend a lot of the locals.
That's awesome.
One of them, shout out to my taxi driver, Andreas. I like to consider him my Cypriot father, because he was my taxi driver, and he took care of me. Like, he provided me snacks, like waters from, like, either long nights at the airport, or if I have to get back to Cyprus, like, early in the morning. Like, he got me, like, this chocolate croissant one time and orange juice. I was like, oh, thank you, Andreas. And he was like, do you need me to, like, bring you to the supermarket? Because it was a holiday, and the supermarkets and, like, everything pretty much is closed, like, on the holiday. So you really, like, were stuck for a day if you didn't, like, have anything in your dorm. I was like, oh, no, I have some stuff. Thank you. And, like, super kind, and I recommended him to all my friends, and he was super grateful for that, and, you know, telling me stories, and basically saying, like, you know, listen, if you ever, for any emergencies or wherever, like, just call me, I'll bring you there. And, you know, it wasn't, like, any secret motive, like, you know, piggyback or anything. Right, no, for sure. And he's worked, like, with students, like, in the past, like, you know, international students, like, at the universities there, and, you know, just a really genuine person. And I'm like, wow, like, you're a good guy to get to know, because, like, if anything happened. But yeah, no, so super nice. Had lots of great, like, conversations to learn about his culture and, you know, where he's from. And he's even asked me a little bit, like, from the U.S., like, oh, like, where are you from? Like, what's, like, New York like? Like, I had yet to go there. I want to go. And I was like, yeah, okay. And, you know, it was just so cool to connect with people about, like, different cultures. And you see the similarities and you find some differences, but it's just, it was just great to get to know people and, you know, build those connections and those friendships. And, you know, I would love to go back. It's really one of those places where I feel like I can call it home on, like, the other side of the world, you know what I mean? And I have, like, professors there that are super supportive and caring. They're like, come back whenever you can. Like, you're more than welcome to come back here. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, you guys are so nice. Like, I don't want to leave, you know what I mean?
I bet that made it super hard.
Yeah. But that's when, you know, like, it was, like, a really special time with people, you know what I mean? Being able to develop those connections, which, I mean, again, everybody's abroad experience is different, but I think it's just really special for my first time internationally, like, to be able to be welcomed into, like, such a inclusive, caring community and get to experience a new culture and, just see God's beautiful creation. Because it really was, like, wow. Like, this world is big, you know what I mean? Like, there was so much out there. And to be able to witness all of that was really, really cool. So, I'm going to stop talking about it, because I can talk about it for hours.
No. Well, that's why we're here. We want to know these things. I think one thing that you kind of mentioned a little, but, like, people are interested in, like, American culture, too. And, like, it's interesting to think about, like, they only know about, like, the U.S. from, like, really pop culture, like, movies and TVs a lot. TV shows. And then, like, people would ask, you know, just random questions, like, are yellow school buses, like, really a thing? And I'm like, yeah. What do you mean? Like, And, like, someone tried to tell me once that there were 51 states, and I was like, no, like, there's 50. And he was like, no, I'm pretty sure it's 51. And I was like,
what was the 51?
I was like, you're really telling me that? Like, what? It was just really funny. I don't even know, but
wow. Okay.
Like, they tried.
Now I'm
like,
curious.
It was just
like,
funny.
Which one are we considering the 51?
Yeah. Or, like,
maybe a part of Canada? I don't
know. Or it was 49. Or he was like, there's only 49. I was like, actually, that's incorrect.
Yeah, there is 50. I mean, unless something's changed. In my time abroad.
I can confirm, So that was funny. But, so, like, what, did you have any, like, fears, like, going into your time abroad? Like, was there anything that was super, like, scary and made you feel really anxious?
Yeah, you know, of course, like, going abroad, right? Like, there's always going to be something that's going to come up. Like, whether, like, maybe, like, if you're going to make any friends, or, like, am I going to be, like, homesick, or, you know, what's it going to be like? Because, you know, you can have all the information about a place, right? You can have all the pamphlets in the world, all the videos, the pictures, especially in our modern day age with like technology, but you really don't know a place until you go there, right? And I guess like it could be extended to people. You don't really know someone till you get to know them, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, like coming from UMass Amherst, I have a great community of people here on campus with crew. You know, crew's like my second family here. You know, I have some great friends with navigators, like some other clubs. You know, like in like my major, like people in my dorm. You know, so like in a variety of places. But it's just like there's definitely that strong bond of community here on campus that I have with a lot of different people. And so like part of it was like, you know, can I have those same bonds or connections with people abroad, right? Or is it going to be something where I may be on my own for a little bit? Like, I don't know what's going to happen. And, you know, one of my prayers to God was, you know, like to put people before me that, you know, I can just really like have like a deep friendship with, or like someone I could connect with and, you know, not quote unquote feel alone in the world. Because truth be told, there were other UMass students that went abroad to Cyprus at the same time as me, but I had no idea who they were. And actually, you know, fast forward a little bit, one of them, my dear friend Tora, she actually goes here to UMass, and we became great friends overseas. But I didn't realize that at first, like, wait, are you one of the UMass students? She's like, yeah, I am. Like, wait, no way. Like, I'll see you back on campus next fall. You know what I mean? Cool. And, you know, it was just super cool to be able to befriend people, like, on campus, and then also like from all the other campuses like across the country. So yeah, I think like one of them was just kind of like finding like genuine friends, you know what I mean? Like I'm not talking about people that, you know, maybe like could be like acquaintances, you know what I mean? Like people that I could like talk to, get to know, you know, if like anything's wrong, like I could talk to them about things. Because truth be told, you know, I was 7 hours ahead of the world, like over there. You know what I mean? Like that time difference, 7 hours, it's real. You know what I mean? Like when you are that far apart in real time, it's very hard to communicate with people back at home. You know, there's some times where I'd be calling my mom and maybe midnight over there, like, oh shoot, I just want to say goodnight, I love you. Like, hope y'all are doing good. Or like, you know, she'd call me and it'd be like 3 p.m. her time, right? But it's like 7 a.m. my time, and I'm like, Mom, I'm still in bed. Like, I'm still sleeping, but what's going on? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So really, it was just like, not only with like immediate family, but also with my friends too, like trying to find time, like, you know, trying to work with their time zones and mine and stuff, like to get in touch with people back at home. And mainly that was through like WhatsApp, Snapchat, like social media was like the biggest factor that helped in that. But, you know, it wasn't the same. Yeah. Like, I can't text them 24/7. They can't text me 24/7, you know what I mean? Because, you know, sometimes it'd be like, again, like the middle of the night my time. And, you know, they're just, you know, still in the midst of their day. They're still going at it with things and people's different schedules. So, again, like all these different varying factors. And, you know, I knew it would be like a little bit different. But you know, listen, God provided. I had a great group of girls. There was like about 10 of us total. So, and some of them I met actually the first night when we landed, like in the airport to get onto the bus, like to our dorm. And they were just like, yeah, like you guys seem like pretty nice. So we just like came over here. And I'm like, oh wait, that's so cool. Because I thought you were nice too. And I like came to like talk to you. You know what I mean?
It's so funny how we like do that.
You just know the
you
vibe.
get a vibe.
You get a vibe. You just know the right people. And like, okay, I'm going to stick with you all. Like, and it's good. But yeah, no, a great big group of girls, and I know that's like, wow, 10 people, but honestly, like, it worked out so well because with such a big group, in our case, we were able to navigate, like, okay, if people want to do one thing, like, a few people can go do that, other people can do this. Sometimes, like, for a few beach trips, we all, like, got together, which is really cool. You know, so yeah, I mean, it was great, and I really consider them, like, my family. Like, overseas, you know what I mean? And people that I can like talk to and get to know and do things with. And yeah, and I mean, again, like as I said before, they came from across the country. So now I have friends that are in like the Midwest, some in the South, like some that are here in Massachusetts, like maybe like a little farther north, like in Boston, and you know, but yeah, I think I've another few friends like in California, like literally everywhere, and also in London too, because two of my friends in that group, they're from the UK.
That's crazy.
And oh my gosh, yes, Grace is one of them, and she actually was in the dance program with me abroad at my university.
That's so cool.
Yeah, so it was so funny because she came in a little bit later after everybody else like arrived for the study abroad program, because she was part of the Erasmus program, but it was something like with her forms and stuff, like in the plane ticket, you know, all that crazy like stuff that has to get done. So you know, she came in, I was like one of the first people to greet her, and I was like, hey, like, you know, what's your name? Like, how are you? Like, you know, welcome to dance program. Like, I've been here my whole life.
Yeah,
like,
you've been there like 2 days.
Right, like 2 days. So I'm like, hey, like, how's it going? But yeah, no, and we actually became really close because she honestly was having like a tough experience, like, abroad. Like, her roommates, unfortunately, weren't the best roommates, and like would leave her places.
That's
like
tough.
Like parties and stuff, or wherever they were doing. And you know, she's like, yeah, like they just like left me stranded. And I was like, what? Like,
you don't do that.
You're joining our group.
Yeah.
And honestly, like, she's like, yeah, I'm so happy, like, I joined your group of friends and you invited me in there, and I'm so grateful that you know, took the time to like introduce yourself. And I was like, well, yeah, of course. And you know, I'm glad like I was like a friend to her, to befriend her. And you know, so like honestly, like I don't feel like if I didn't do that, her experience personally probably would have been a whole lot different. And I don't think in like the best way that it could have been. So you know, in essence, it really worked out, like, you know, trying to find those people to connect with, like to really just like reach out and, you know, with a hand and be like, hey, like come join the group, like, you know, come on, it's good, you know. And yeah, it was a really great group of people. But yeah, so mainly like the friendship thing, right? And then of course the financial thing. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure finances, like when everybody like hears study abroad, like, oh, you know, it's a big part of it, you know what I mean? And so like I am so grateful for the family members in my family, right? that helped contribute to me going abroad. Because really, like, if it wasn't for some of them, like my mom, dad, like some of my grandparents chipped in, you know, some other family members who really helped me, you know, be able to have the funds to go abroad. Because that was like another thing too. I was doing the best I could with like my part-time job at home to, you know, make money, but it just like wasn't enough, you know what I mean? Like on my own specifically, especially like that short amount of time. And you know, after the holiday season, like work just drops, like there's like no work anymore. I'm like, guys, come on, like I'm trying to work, like I want to work really badly. But you know, just super grateful and blessed to have like my family that helped me out with that. You know, because I mean, listen, there were times too, like being abroad, because, like, you see everything. It's like, oh my gosh, I need now. Like, I want to buy everything. And you're like, no. And then there were definitely a few purchases I look back on, and I'm like, okay, I definitely did not need to buy that. But what's done is done. So we're just going to hope for the best for the next time around. But actually, I did surprise myself a few times here or there. I had some extra cash on me just stored in different places. I'm like, thank you, past me, for hiding this money, because you were helping me out right now.
Yeah, I love that.
You just find like an extra like 20 euros in your pocket, and you're like, I'm rich.
Yes, exactly. That's so funny.
No, for real. So that definitely helped. I helped myself out
like,
in that
I'm
way.
Rich. Yeah.
Like,
no, it feels that way. I feel like it's so different, like using your card than like having cash. When you have cash, you're like rolling around in the dough. You know, you're like,
no, for real.
You're like spending it, and it feels. There's more of like like you feel something when that happens versus just a plastic card. That
no,
you, like,
for sure. Also, too, I feel like with a plastic card, it's easier to spend more money. Because, like, with cash, right, like, okay, once that, like, $10 is up, that's it. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
you can't buy anything more, like, unless you return it, right? Like, if you can return it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, with a car, like, I definitely found myself a few times like, oh, okay, probably need to slow down for a minute so I can actually pay my credit card bills and all this other stuff. But yeah, no, so also too, learned a lot about different currencies in the other parts of the world. Because when I went to Israel, I did not realize how expensive it was over there. Beautiful place. I got to explore a lot of different places over there. Like, in that part of the world, and also like in Europe too. But yeah, definitely it got a little expensive with the finances. I was like, oh boy, like
I had to like, so because I decided like sort of last minute that I was gonna go, I hadn't been like saving all summer and all this,
right?
And then like winter break, it was just slow, you know. It just always is.
Yeah.
And so then I had to like make myself a budget and like really try to stick to that. And I would tell myself, if there was like a shiny thing that I was like reaching for, I'd be like, nope,
right,
we're spending money on experiences, not on things,
right?
You know, and that really helps me. Like, it changed my mindset too, to be like, I'd rather spend my money on like a trip or getting something in like Portugal or Paris, wherever it is, than like getting it here or like getting a shirt that I think is cute. Like those kinds of things, I would kind of really realize that what I actually want, you know?
Yeah.
And that was really important, and that still shaped like how I think about like my money and stuff today.
No, for sure.
You know?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I definitely, like, after being abroad, I learned a lot of life lessons, as I'm sure you did. Just like various aspects of life. But yeah, no, it really does. I feel like when you go outside of your usual environment in terms of finances, like, it really does make you think, like, do I actually need this?
Yeah.
Like, you know, or even like in like, you know, wherever you are in the world, right? You know, it just makes you think a little bit more like, okay, what's like the value behind this? Like, I like to give myself a few days, like, okay, because y'all know I like to shop at Marshalls. Whoever knows me knows I love Marshalls. It's actually about addiction, but we're not gonna talk about that today. That's a story for another time. But yeah, no, I have to really discipline myself, you know, be like, okay, do I need this right now? Like, let me think about it, right? And, you know, I'll give myself a few days, or sometimes too, I'll forget about it. I'm like, oh, well, guess it wasn't that important. Like, I definitely didn't need it. Or even better, I'll come back a few months later and it's on sale. So I'm like, okay, God, like, like, thank you. Like, all right, like, you know, just, you know, being disciplined and, you know, do I really need this right now? You know, looking at what I have, or, you know, because it can definitely be like an addiction, like, you know, like shopping and spending money. So yeah, definitely learned a lot how to control my finances, you know, but yeah, those I would say are like my top two fears, but, you know, God had a plan and he worked it out, and yeah, so now I just gotta get back to working like a lot. You know
me too. The account's a little bit drained, but it's okay. Money comes and goes. And, you know, God will provide. And he always has.
He always has.
I always doubt, and I'm like, well, why am I doubting? Like, he always has, so why would he not now?
Exactly.
He won't fail, you know?
Right.
So, yeah, that's good that we both learned that.
Yeah. We're learning some good, valuable lessons over here.
Yeah. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode. I hope you took something meaningful away from this discussion and know that God loves you so much and desires a personal relationship with you. If you'd like to stay up to date with episodes, follow me on Instagram at Growing Towards God Pod and subscribe on whatever platform you're listening on. Before I go, I'd like you to take this benediction into your life and let the Lord's goodness empower you today. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. The Lord turn his face toward you and give you peace. Have a great rest of your day, and catch you next time on the Growing Towards God podcast.